Poll is, who would you associate as a sexy sounding country? Italy, Spain, Australia or whatever, and France and the UK or Britain or whatever you want to say. Okay. However you want to make it better. Okay. But I don't know if you're gonna get this one. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll win this. They do sound more sophisticated.
But speaking of British accents, not a lot of those in The Last Jedi.
No, there aren't. No.
Everybody talks like they went to college in America.
Right. Yeah, it's just Ray.
Especially Rose.
Yeah, Rose.
Don't we love her? We hate her character. We hate her?
I love the actress. She's freaking awesome. She's adorable.
She really did a good job.
She seems like a cool person.
I'm sure that's the thing she wants to hear.
But that's not that she's a bad actress.
No,
either.
but I'm sure that's what she wants to go on her Oscar. Congratulations, you're adorable.
My thing was, I felt like her character could have been given better stuff to do. And that whole side arc with Finn and her character was very.
So to summarize, we didn't like
the whole movie.
Not the whole movie. There was cool parts. I liked
parts.
Leia flying. I thought
I did not like that.
I liked it. I didn't mind it. If you're gonna show Leia doing something with the Force, you might as well go all out. You might as well.
It's not that it was all out. It's that it was weird.
The shot, the way it was shot was weird. The way it was shot made it seem like it was too out to where it made her look kind of silly. If they would have kind of closed it in, or if she was closer to the ship to where it was like less, Or
maybe she would have used the Force just to stop everything from flying out of the ship. Like maybe it blew up and
she pauses everything.
She just stops everything. Yeah,
that would have been pretty cool.
That would have been really dope. But no, she flies out in space. She's dead, and she's like slowly.
And then we lost Admiral Akbar.
And Admiral Akbar got killed off real quick without any kind of.
All they did was mention him. And Wedge, where's Wedge Antilles? Shout out to Giovante for mentioning that. Where on earth is Wedge Antilles?
Oh, he's dead too. Probably Rian Johnson probably killed him off on, behind the scenes where we couldn't see him.
But all in all, I don't want to go into The Last Jedi too long because I get frustrated. If you want to hear a really, really good remake, The Lost Jedi by Thor Skywalker
that dude
on YouTube.
Killed it. It's fan fiction, and it's about, each video is about 20-25 minutes, but it's really good. It's like its own version of what The Last Jedi should have been, and let me tell you right now, it is far better. I would pay more money to go see that in theaters, just with the clips, just with the pictures. We talked about that earlier, just as it is, than I would to go see The Last Jedi.
If you want to hear a really cool remake, I would suggest it. Thor Skywalker on YouTube. He does a series every Tuesday. He releases it. So shout out to him. I hope he hears this, but doubt he will. I mean, I follow him, so hopefully he subscribes back. But it's really good. It's like I think that's a better story. But we can go all day. I think overall, 4 out of 10. I think it's the worst Star Wars movie in my opinion. It's a great movie in my opinion. Although it's not a great sequel, but it's a great movie in that it segues nicely. Some of the dialogue is good. The action scenes, it's visually the most impressive I've seen a Star Wars film.
Oh, for sure. There's an experience in the movie at one point where it just goes quiet.
Yeah, everybody knows about that with what's her name?
Yeah, with Holdo shooting
going through hyperspace through the ship. That was pretty amazing. How everybody didn't die is also a plot hole to me. Everyone should have died. You're telling me that the force of someone going into light speed through a ship, everybody just directly away from the blast radius is not going to die? That was a little weird. But either way, I think. But what if we get into the topic of? So I'll say that The Last Jedi, although I'll see it plenty of times, I always consider it canon and bring up the what happened in it. I'm
The Lost Jedi's canon.
The Lost
Jedi's canon.
Should be canon.
It should be canon.
Well, let's talk about who we would call. So, as far as we should probably bring up who we think in the movie, who we would call a chess player and who we would call a poet in this movie. Just really quick, I can start with a poet in the movie. I guess I would say that the poet, who I would call a poet in The Last Jedi, would probably be...
No one, because the movie sucked.
No. In the movie, I would say Leia is the poet. I would call Leia the poet. And as far as chess player goes, Finn, without a doubt.
Finn?
Yes,
really?
100%.
Really?
His entire prerogative, everything he does, his relationship with Finn is self-serving. Even his relationship with Rose is self-serving.
Yeah.
He's interacting with her, and everything he's doing is to try to get to Rey. And some people will call it love and all that. It's not.
I hope so. I ship them.
I don't.
I'm one of those people that ship them. I so totally do.
I don't like Finn and Rey because at this point,
because you don't like interracial relationships. That's fine. Yeah, that's cool.
That's another conversation. I wholeheartedly.
You better clarify that.
I wholeheartedly affirm interracial relationships. I don't like Finn and Rey's relationship. Rey didn't really seem to have a romantic attachment to him in the first movie. He was obsessed with her. Now they introduce Rose and Finn.
Obsessed is a bit strong.
Obsessed with her.
No.
Just met her and, looked at me like no one ever had. Okay, I understand that, but you don't know who she is. She could be a transvestite, and...
Look, he's not from Miami. He doesn't have to worry about that kind of stuff.
I'm just saying, you got to watch out with some of these, like, quick, immediate romantic attachments. Because,
shout out to Miami, though,
Yeah, shout out to the whole city of Miami, if
you're
listening.
The whole city, if you're listening.
But I thought Finn was a chess player because everything he was doing was for was for a certain purpose, and that only purpose he wanted was to meet back up with Rey. And so at first he's trying to escape, which was cowardice, which they clearly didn't involve his character at all. He woke up, he fell asleep, and right before he fell asleep, he was willing to die for Rey, and willing to die in general and face his fear and fight the enemy. Instead of running away, he didn't ask to retreat. He was just willing to fight the enemy. Then he woke up and he was trying to run away from the enemy to go find Rey. And when he found Rey, what was he gonna do? Run away. So cowardice. I didn't like that at all. I didn't like how they presented his character. I think he was a chess player. Leia's the true poet because everything she does is guided by what she feels is right, and she doesn't try to create anything. She honestly doesn't even try to bring Luke back that hard. She's not like super like focusing on that. She's just adapting. She doesn't the way she moves and acts is not impulsive, but it's based on what she knows to be true. The way she responded to Poe's rebellion and Poe's rebellious spirit was both redeeming of Poe in a sense. The way her and Haldo were talking about, he's a troublemaker. She wasn't like counting him off, but she still was angry at him and moved with her anger. I would say she's a poet. That's what a poet is. A poet moves with what they know to be true.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so as far as chess players and poets in the movie, who would you say?
I'm going to speak controversially. I think
go ahead.
I'm going to say that Luke was both a chess player and a poet. He exhibited both of those things throughout the movie, which was enjoyable. At the beginning, he kind of shows that he doesn't want anything to do with. He walks away from his responsibilities. He runs from his responsibilities, runs from the reality of what has occurred. With Ben, he thinks it's better off if he just kind of controls his situation from here on out. Instead of relying on the Force, he blocks it out. So he runs from the reality of his situation. And by the end of the movie, he's willing to step up to the plate, sort of. And I say sort of because he wasn't actually there, which is a whole nother argument.
That was so dumb.
It's another thing that angers me. And it's not that he force projects. I thought that was cool. I think that's a cool force ability. It was the fact that he did not show up there for real. There was no point in it because he's going to die either way. You might as well have him be there.
So he's the chess player and the poet.
And the poet. I think what reflects that is his interaction with Kylo Ren at the end. When he is the holographic, or the force projection, his interaction with Kylo where he's like, look, you can strike me down, but if you do so in anger, I'll always be with you. Kind of mirroring Obi-Wan when he's speaking to Darth Vader. Correct. You strike me down, I'm going to be greater than... He's reliant on the Force. He's fully understood. He understands that he was wrong. He can admit that he was wrong, and he can admit that he was at fault, and now he's taking responsibility for it. So that's where he most shines there. I think he deserves the Chess Players and Poet Award in the movie, but I mean, we could argue about that later. We could actually take a poll on that too. Who do people think
he encompassed both. Yeah, I would agree with that.
But do you think he encompassed both? Like, is he the main character that encompassed both, or do you think there were other characters who may have encompassed both in a more elaborate sense?
I think obviously the villains are going to be the chess players. The pristine chess players. Snoke was definitely a chess player. Everything he did.
Do you think Kylo might exhibit some poet-like tendencies?
Kylo's definitely a poet.
Throughout
Kylo's killing of Snoke was poetry. Was a poet moment. He was literally guided by not just his impulse, but what he felt to be he was moving with an intent, but then you also factor in he was trying to get rid of Snoke so that he can then
take over,
and he was doing all that to get to Rey, so that's also a factor that he would make him not very poet-like. His anger was definitely poet. He was genuinely angry. It wasn't trying. There was no intention there. He was just angry.
Yeah. And you can tell because his hesitation with shooting Leia on the ship. Correct. That hesitation there, that shows that there's something there. There's layers there.
There's a heart somewhere. Yes. Yeah. So
in that Tin Man's chest.
Segueing from The Last Jedi, which we would give our final verdict as being disappointing. Joel calls it a bad movie. I say it's a good movie, bad Star Wars movie.
It's fun.
It's a fun movie.
It's fun.
Go watch it. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah, it's fun, but it's not a good sequel. That's what I'll say. It's not a good sequel, and there's a lot of movie flaws as a moviegoer that I have with it.
So have you heard these Drake songs? He released 2 singles.
Yes, I heard them.
What did you think of them?
Basura.
Really? You didn't like them?
I mean, I'm kind of getting used to the whole Drake reggae kind of
Wait, but did you listen to Diplomatic Immunity?
Yeah, I listened to that one where he's rapping and he's actually rapping. It just was too long for me.
Too long?
It was too long.
It was 3 minutes long.
It was too long for me.
What?
It felt like he was just rapping straight through the whole thing. There wasn't really any kind of break.
Yeah, it was just giving you bars.
Yeah, there wasn't any kind of break. I didn't like that.
Oh,
I'm not a fan of that song.
Like
you know that I'm not a fan of that
You like
song.
hooks.
I like hooks. I like a break from the verse. That's what I like.
If a rapper that I care about releases a song and it's 4 minutes long and all of it is rap, I care. I want to listen to all of it.
Depends.
That's why I loved Rap God.
It depends. It depends. If it's impacting me, that's something different. That song didn't impact me.
No, not impacting.
And it was just straight rap.
But just bars. Like, you want to see what he has. You want to see if Drake, is going to come with something strong or if he's going to come with, weak.
He's got those ghostwriters. He'll be fine.
Apparently. But the first song was hype and exciting and all that. But the second song, I liked a lot. Diplomatic Immunity. I want to do something with that beat, but I liked it.
Is Alex hinting towards something?
Yes, I'll be doing something with that beat, without a doubt. Without a doubt, I'll be doing something with that beat.
I heard it first here on the podcast.
Well, I posted something about it, so they didn't hear it first.
Well, yeah.
They read it first.
You posted on Facebook about it?
Yes.
You get any heat?
I posted on Facebook that I want. No, why would I get heat for that?
I don't know. Everything you post on Facebook, you get heat for.
Agreed.
So it was just a question. I was just looking to see if anybody commented.
Agreed. No one
specific
commented.
People,
Yeah,
I was half tempted to call them out just now.
People. My loyal
haters.
Tribe. My loyal Ewoks.
Yeah, your Ewoks.
My loyal Porgs. But
so Drake's songs were they were okay. They were Drake. I wasn't impressed. I wasn't like, oh man, this is something I never heard before. Oh man, this is something that's really dope. It was Drake.
Is Drake a